I mean, Prava also spends time editing the video he took of like this whole adventure.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I just realized there's something very important that we missed.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
When did we check on the frozen kids in the lounge?
Yeah, that's true. So let's find out what happened to those a moment.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it just because of the way last session I was like, wait, I think that probably would have been a pretty high priority for us.
So, the undead man who you had been talked to before, you can see him coming out of the vents for a few couple of days. It seems to be much quieter with the zombies under control and the like. And he basically comes up to you guys and says, "It seems you have done well."
I'll show him the chart, and it's like, we're due back in Absalon Station.
It has been a while. It'll be good to return.
I'm kind of like, it's like, so what do you think we should do? Should we begin the process of removing some of the passengers out of stasis in preparation for arriving to Absalon, or would you feel more comfortable leaving that to the authorities?
I suspect you should leave it to the authorities. They'll be more prepared to handle any medical issues that may arise from so long in stasis.
So we don't get to meet the guests?
There are only a few adult guests I was able to save. The rest are mainly children that were on the ship.
That's going to be Kuzon's like scratching his head, like, that's going to be an interesting family reunion where the kids are still kids and but yeah,
Well,
it's
in a way, at least they are safe. But yes, you should leave it to the authorities, unless one of you is a doctor.
I think we know a doctor, but honestly that's too much of a hassle than what I'm willing to deal with right now.
Understood. Then leave him be for the time being. I will prepare myself for return to the Packed Worlds.
Where are we dropping you off at?
Where are you from? Maybe we'll come visit once you settle back in.
I'm from Eox. By the way, general knowledge for Packed Worlds is pretty common, even between you guys. You would know that that's the undead world, where, well, all the undead come from.
I mean, I'm sure there are undead that aren't from there. Cole's not from there, and he's an undead.
Well, a few, yes, though mainly they do come from Eox.
Was Cole undead while you knew him?
No, he was a hobgoblin.
No, that's...
I was like, wait.
He's recently undead.
Recently. Just recently. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I'll do like a cursory checkup on the stasis machines, and like if they have any vital information, I'll document it and stuff like that. Like I'll do the work of peeling the information out of the stasis machines for the authorities, so I can just hand it to them in a data pad or whatever.
Yeah, and Prava actually does like help with that process. Like now that we have full control of the ship, he like goes through, he finds like all the passenger logs and stuff, so that like the authorities can start matching names to bodies right away. Day 3 or 4, Prava definitely had like a little drinking party where like he invited Aiden without telling the Jackal, and the Jackal without telling Aiden, like, you know.
How that would have ended is Aiden would have gone, I beat you. Then I would have taken my drink and I would have fucked off.
He's a sore winner, isn't he? Of course, Jackal
You stabbed me! You stabbed me through the chest, fucker!
There's nothing personal, just business. Alright then. So, essentially you tidy that stuff up and getting all the names down as the 4 days slowly start to come to an end. And eventually you return to the Packed Worlds. And, well, it's not exactly a smooth return, given how the ship starts rocking back and forth with some vigor. as you burst back into the packed worlds. And the moment you do, you can already tell you're drawing an awful lot of attention. You can hear the Absalom security force, which makes up basically a militia of different people are coming towards the ship, asking for IDs of different bits and pieces of information, like what you're doing here, what's your purpose, what's your ID, so, you know, many people asking the same things over and over again. So
I'm gonna try to like brush through, and I was like, I need to know who's in charge of you guys. I need a word.
The Absalom militia is basically a culmination of people, where there's a sort of a Gazalt leader on the station. As you pick up, you do hear, it's like, this is the second in command. This is second in command.
Just like Kuzon, like for a moment, like clutched his chest. And like, what?
He's like, no, this is the second command of Absalom's militia. What is it you need, and why are you here?
Well, we recover, as you can tell, we recovered this cruise liner and everything like that. I'm making sure this is a private conversation that I'm having, because I don't even think I told the rest of the crew yet. But I'm just gonna say, I think Alibor is the only person I told, because I thought Alibor could use that information.
Keep going. Yeah.
I tell him that, so I don't want you to panic. There's an undetonated nuclear explosive inside of the engine hold, and I believe that was why the ship had been malfunctioning. You're going to want to bomb the Fusela guy to go in and extract that thing, and I'll send him the pictures.
Understood. Thank you for warning us. Now, we are coming on board. Please report any dangers and any, well, relevant information. Now, this next part, of course, if I described it, would take up the entire session. So I think we're going to mosey on ahead just a little bit. Do a tiny bit of a time skip of a few hours.
Makes sense.
So during this time skip, have you guys exited the ship and gotten back on your ship and gone to Absalom, or what would you have done during these hours of people getting things together?
What was Jacko doing during those 4 days of us traveling?
Oh, he was just sitting in the lounge, basically where your ship was, and he apparently, according to Oswald, him and Elibor have talked a bit. And you guys basically get back on your ship, go to Absalom, and all you see is Vakilion hanging above the Absalom station, just floating there in all its quote-unquote, I would say glory, but you can see bits and pieces even now falling off of it.
Prava also makes sure that he takes the computer with the AI on it, which he is naming Noel.
Noel. Nice name. I'll make sure to make a little character sheet for it later. But as you, of course, are heading back to Absalom station from the ship, you hear Elibor go, I have contacted the Benefactor. He will meet us soon.
Very well.
It seems like he did not expect you to come back with a ship.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we told him about our intent to have the ship at the end of all this, but...
Yes.
Does he know that we only got half of the data?
I did make sure to tell him.
Alright. As long as he knows not in advance.
She gives a small nod before finally getting out of Kuzon's little information seat on the ship and heading off towards her own room to start packing up. This has been quite an adventure, I must say.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss having you aboard. If you ever want to change careers, just let me know. We'll always have a spot for you.
Ah, yes. From well-paid assistant to one of the most powerful people in the Pact Worlds to Salvager.
I mean, adventurer.
I may come with you now and again. Who knows?
Alright. Well, looking forward to the next time you're on our ship.
She gives a small nod and a smile. Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things that have changed in your absence. So, and with that she heads back to her room and you guys land. Now, the Benefactor is going to be coming to your ship to meet you. Is there anything you wanted to contact or do while you're there? Just going to wait for a Benefactor to arrive.
I think I'd send a message to the, like, just a brief message, maybe like an email or whatever. I keep on forgetting names, but the guy who did the math and helped us track this thing, I'll tell him that it was a success and thank him for his work. It did the trick.
Oh, he's very good. Yo, you mean the artifact guy?
Yeah.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, he basically goes, hang on. Oh, brilliant! I was so pleased to see you come back. Wasn't expecting the entire ship, but I am glad you have returned.
I don't leave jobs unfinished.
It has been several weeks. I did worry, of course, but I'm glad you've returned. I have got new stock in, if you ever want to come and visit.
Yeah.
We got new anomaly data and everything, so.
Yeah, that is stuff. We'll forward you some of the information that we got, but yeah, we do have some other stuff for you.
I look forward to you arriving then. For now, I must tidy up before you arrive. And with that, you hear him kick off the comms. And eventually, the Benefactor does arrive. He is walking with his cane, limping along, but looking out of the docking bay windows up above towards Rikilion and the space. And he's like, must say, impressive.
If you think this is impressive, you should see the inside. It's huge, labyrinthine.
Yes.
A little banged up, but...
It does mean a mountain of paperwork for me.
Kuzon shrugs and it's like, sorry, boss, but you know that we don't leave. It's like, you know that we get as much as we can.
True. Though it is going to take several days of claims and salvagers' rights and the owners.
I'll produce the 3 pieces of ID and just like set them down at the table in front of him. It's like, well, I got all of these, so hopefully that gives us a little bit of weight at the negotiating table.
More than likely. I mean, you are probably going to be able to afford more than your fair share. The others won't have as much claim to the wreckage. Though I have heard from Elibor that the Rippers have decided to decline any claim.
What? Really?
Why is that? They were such a help. They should get something for their work.
I think it was along the lines of, had fun going to next job. I must say, they are one of my best crews, along with you. And one of the only 3 that are, well, popular within the Pact Worlds.
Popularity is a burden that we must carry.
Nice. But yeah, essentially, as it's like blowing up on social media and stuff, you can see Benefactor nodding. And I heard that you obtained half the data.
We had unexpected intrusion by the Tenebrous Guard, and they had an unexpected person on their payroll. But we recovered what we could. They attempted to sabotage the server room entirely before they left.
I see. Well, I must say that I am still impressed. We managed to stop the enemy from obtaining the remaining information. And better yet, you have obtained half of it ourselves.
More important than all that boring stuff, check this guy out. And Prava holds up his right arm.
As you do, the symbiote, as you hold it, how do you hold it up, by the way?
He just like brings like his right arm up, and he takes his left hand, and he kind of like lets the symbiote trail onto his hand, and kind of like handles like a snake.
As you allowed it to basically move towards your hand, the symbiote forms, and all you see is like your fingers just force themselves out into a straight like palm before a blade follows along it, and it like forms like a sword essentially along your arm.
Whoa, we're talking here. We're not in a... Still, this is pretty cool.
As you do sense a sort of pride. It's not exactly hostile, it's just like, look what I can do.
Yeah, you're growing up quick.
It seems to have learned quite a bit from your encounter on Kilion. As the blade does seem to mimic Aiden's in some way.
Ooh, interesting.
The Benefactor's looking at it for a moment, and Elabor did not mention this. What is this creature?
It's a symbiote. We found a meteorite. They're like, the whole species shares a mind. They bond in a beneficial relationship with members of other species. Is their main method of, well, life.
Of course you have found a new species.
Yeah, hold on. And Prava goes like through like his like mountains of video footage.
So
and just shows like a clip of them like going onto the meteorite with these guys.
are you also explaining the entire situation with them? You know, that they have lost their home system to the swarm, that they're out there in space alone, that need picking up and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, no, Prava literally like plays the videotape of their conversation. Like every detail. Just...
You see a Benefactor looking at it and like looking back at you, and then the rest of you, like all of you, it's like, I should have expected this. I do not know why, but I should have expected this. I see. More paperwork. I suppose you want to, well, bring them here?
Yeah, the Pact Worlds are a place for all sentient life to grow and thrive together. You guys accepted the Sheeran, we're accepting the devils and the demons, why not these folks?
Yeah, seems like a
Depends
movement
on
of
whether
good
they can pay taxes.
just so they if they pay taxes then they're totally fine, is that it?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's how bureaucracy works.
Of course. Well, you see the Benefactor stroking his chin. Well, if they can live anywhere, I guess the Diaspora would probably be the best place for them, but seems like I'm gonna have to contact some politicians.
Sorry to increase your workload, but this is really important to me.
Since he seems a bit unsure about this, I'm gonna mention they can create precious metals and help survive in very questionable environments.
They can't create precious metal. They're really good at purifying star metal, but that's not really creation of star metal.
So they can refine it.
Yeah, star metal is most of their body seems to be made up of it. They're able to manipulate it, purify it, and use it as part of their own being. So
He's looking down towards the one attached to your arm, Prava.
This guy sticks with me.
Well, I'll make sure to tell him this. As I said, it seems like you gave me plenty of paperwork. And I think I know what reward you'll be getting for this job. He says, looking towards the ship for a moment. This is, of course, dependent on what you all desire.
I mean, I kind of want the Corleone, but...
It's a bit too big.
Well, we will see what's left after all the claims and reclaims from the owner.
I like put my hand on Prava's like shoulder and be like, I know, I wanted to.
When it comes time to the negotiating table, I'd like a place at it. I want to be able to advocate for my crew and their claim.
Are you sure? Such things normally take, well, many hours to solve.
It's okay, Prava. We'll get a better ship.
No, I got experience in this, Kuzon. I can handle the grind.
Well, it's also the idea that we would need, like, logistically, if we wanted to turn that ship into something that we could use, we would need a lot of money. We'd need, like, a full crew of, like, hundreds of people. It'd be a whole thing.
Elibor, come with me. We have much work to do, it seems. And you see Elibor, like, give a small sigh, almost as if, like, yeah, me, of course. I have much work to do. As she heads on off, and you see the jackal basically following her out, chatting to her for a second before he waves all of you off. It's like, it was nice working with you. And he, like, gives a small salute.
Yeah, next time, make sure you're on the winning side.
He gives a small shrug about that. It's like, hopefully next time.
Prava, I think Jacko gets paid before the job, so either way, he kind of is on the winning side.
You can't tell under his like helmet, but you tell like Aiden's right. Like almost as if a cocky, I still got paid sort of aura comes off.
The difference between a normal job and when mercenaries work is we get paid, so we win no matter what.
Sure, but his credibility must take a hit whenever he fails a job like this.
Did he though? He was working for the Tenebris Guard. Nobody likes him.
I don't see what you mean. I never took a job on Achilleon. And he like gives a small shrug and starts walking off.
Besides, he's got a point. Like, who knows that he actually took a job. And when I say that, I'm gonna aim Prava's phone at him and incentivize him to take some pictures.
I mean, again, Prava was recording literally like the whole dungeon, so.
Except the part when I got stopped. Cut that part out.
Are you dictating what Prava edits now? So cut
Yes.
that bit out. I don't
Literally,
recall.
the only thing Prava edits is that he bleeps out every time he says Prava and dubs in Avarp over it. And that's literally the only editing this whole thing gets.
Also, that part when that bitch blew my arm off and I had to reattach it, make sure to cut that part.
Prava added like a slow-mo and like a bunch of like sound effects to that.
We didn't see your arm get blown off. We only
Yeah,
saw
we
your
were.
arm off.
Yes, you put in slow-mo and all the visual effects to make it all dramatic about my arm getting blown off, and then you immediately send it to my mother, be like, look at what your boy is doing. Wow.
Don't worry, I sent her
Amazing.
a picture first of you with the arm back on and safe, but
See, he's safe.
Essentially.
This happened before, though.
I mean, it's probably not the first time I've lost a limb.
True. Right, so, do you want inventory of what you have in your ship?
absolutely.
Do we... That 32,000, do we want to do our thing before where we split it 5 ways and add it to the ship, or do you just want to split that 4 ways, do you guys think?
Oh, definitely split it 4 ways.
Yeah, so we'll just split it 4 ways, and this will probably go directly into equipment then.
It splits to like a 0.5, so we'll take 8,111 credits each, and then just throw those last 2 credits into the into the ship stock.
Sorry, how much was that?
Each of us get 8,000.
111.
Yeah.
8,811.
8,111.
Yeah, 8111.
Right, what is known as diapha caps, essentially this will give you a clip of diapha ammo. These are small larvae within the caps of these, well, rounds. Once you fire them, it activates their natural defenses, and basically they turn into a small fire explosive. You can... Essentially, you can turn these into any of ammo. Fine goods times 12. So that's basically 12 units of fine goods.
Oh, we can sell those, right?
Yes, they're trade
I'll
goods.
take
within-
I'll take some of the. I'll take like one bottle of fine wine and keep it for the ship, and then we'll
Right.
sell the rest of it.
Okay, so you have 11 fine goods. As you like take an expensive bottle of wine, it's like, yes, this will be useful later.
This is for us.
It's party time.
All the spare guns, I'm assuming there's plenty of guns on the ship because we did raid a place and there is still the tactical. I'm gonna basically grab a lot of them and get them into zero risk security as either backup equipment or some upgrades. Make sure everybody's well equipped.
Yeah, these did seem like 10-year-old guns, but they're still roundabout quite decent. They're just a load of weaponry and stuff like that.
If they're not up to snuff, then I'll just sell them and buy newer model guns for zero risk.
Poor Oswald. But yeah, he is wondering about your ship as well, since I suspect you took him.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping them. I don't think I'm gonna like load any weapons or anything on him, but I'll just be like, hey, I'll do this thing. Cause like I convinced him that our ship was part of the, it was part of that, and then I just let him know. It's like, hey, so yeah, your responsibilities have changed. Here's your friend Drill Robot 1, Drill Robot 2, Loader Robot 1, and Loader Robot 2. Also, here's the AI I got. You guys are buddies now.
Understood. I will make friends. It's like,
And
hello, friends. How are you doing? And it's like they don't. The Loader robots don't answer since they don't really have VI. They do like look up towards him, and he looks towards the AI for a moment. And it looks like it's like they do not seem to be answering, sir.
you just have to teach. You'll have to teach them to be sociable like you.
Understood. Then, let me think. I will teach you the ways of.
I'll
And you see Oswald come back for a moment. It's like, everything is fine, sir.
I'll you see Kuzon just like writing on a piece of paper, and it's like to do fix Oswald.
It seems like some of his latent security programs may be still in there somewhere.
The word you're looking for is PTSD.
That too. Robot PTSD, where you can't clear your cache.
I mean that might still be useful for me, but I'll have to isolate his systems down and make it so that it can come on intentionally and in a controlled manner.
Well, to Aiden's place.
By the way, after selling the fine goods and dealing with the gun situation, I'm gonna spend a bunch of credits to get, space fried chicken, pizzas, a lot of alcohol and candy for the kids, piñata, and basically all the goods so that we can throw a nice big party.
Alright, I'd just say, what, 150 or 100? Let's say 100.
Oh.
How's that?
That's pretty cheap. I'm down for that.
Well, that's how much it costs to throw a standard party, or do you want an opulent party? Do you want to get them caviar?
Well, caviar's a bit much for this kind of crowd.
Yeah, you're buying basic like stuff like candy, drink, pop, stuff like that. It's about 100 credits.
Yeah. Piñatas,
So, nice.
a few football boys for the lads so they can be all manly about it.
So, as you start heading up towards Zero Risk, you see that the building is so much cleaner.
I see how it is. Murana must have finally snapped and kicked all the kids out.
Well,
That's why it's so clean.
you say that, but it's like your doors have been replaced. It's no longer those doors that you open yourself. They're automatic doors. Like, it seems like this place has been refurbished.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I did tell the Benefactor to help out with renovations a bit, since he owed me one. Well, no point staying around. I'm gonna start bringing the crate of goodies inside. As I'm removing my shoes, just scream, "Honey, I'm home!"
Sorry, that cracked me up. Right, as you are heading back inside. You see the other kids like running around. They seem to have new toys and everything, and you just see them like, Aiden's back, run away.
What? What happened?
I like they
Did you do something bad? Oh, I'm gonna be so mad once I find out what you did.
they like dash away. Gravy's just like sitting on a sofa watching TV. She just comes up to you, gives you a small hug, and then walks back to the thing. Like, this is seemingly normal. It's like Aiden's away like a lot, so he comes back and forth over like weeks. So they're used to you going, you know?
Yep. I'm gonna use my hand to rip the top of the crate open, and I'm gonna take out the piñata and toss it into Gravy's lap as she's sitting there and say, "That's for the troops," and I'm gonna give her a salute.
She gives a small salute back and starts saying up. And you see like the kids are coming up, and it seems like they recognize you, Prava. They're like, "Oh my god, Ava!"
You guys have met me before, haven't you?
It's like, yeah, but you weren't Avab then.
I mean, I was. I just wasn't as famous as Averb yet. But
It's like, do you have any more videos? I want to see more videos.
well, I wasn't gonna upload this for another day or two, but here's a picture of Aiden getting absolutely bowled over, and fighting valiantly against.
You see him right there. You see the Shirin kids like latching onto you and like climbing you in order to see the video better. Like just.
By the way, at this point, Aiden was taking out the baseball bats for the piñata, and when you mentioned something about him not looking very good, like he's ready to swing.
He has kids on him. Watch out. Those kids are vicious.
You guys can see the rest of this in a couple days on the channel. I'll upload it as quick as I can.
They all seem very excited about that prospect. You're lucky that censorship isn't as bad as it is now in the future.
Yeah, in the future they're used to decapitations and shit. It's fine, it's basically a Tuesday night.
It's fine, it's probably edited all coolly, so there's no like all blood and stuff. It's just, you know, just like
Rainbows instead of blood.
Probably all actiony. Yeah, it doesn't show the head, but it implies it.
Yeah, and always those tasteful cuts. Which was actually Prava just like leering away so he wouldn't puke, but.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you do see. One moment. You do see someone coming from the kitchen. You see Z coming from the kitchen.
Oh, Z, what are you doing here at zero risk?
She seems a little surprised by your presence. And she's like, "Oh, hello. Well,
Prava, what do you mean what you doing here? You left her in that dump in the middle of fucking nowhere. I offered her a better place to stay.
and you did introduce me to Rana, remember?
No, that's true. Yeah, I suppose it did.
Yeah, so I just mean hanging around a lot around here.
No, well, it's good to see you again. I'm happy to see your friendly face right after our mission.
Thank you. You do see that she's looking much better. She doesn't seem to have like bags under her eyes as much anymore. Her skin seems healthier than normal.
You're looking really good. Has life on Absalom been good for you?
Well, ever since I've been coming here for proper meals and seeing Dia, yeah, it's improved a lot.
Oh, here. I'm gonna start rummaging through the liquor and I'm gonna offer her a bottle.
That doesn't mean I have stopped drinking. She says as she like takes the bottle from you. It's like nice. By the way, Aiden, would you roll me perception?
Oh, perception. Perception.
As you are passing off the bottle, you see that she's, well, you recognize what she's wearing. She seems to be wearing Moana's shirt.
Oh god. Wait. Is this a body snatcher scenario? Is that why she's not here? Did you take her out? You have to tell me, how did you do it?
Aiden, you feel a small, what feels like an orange hit the back of your head as Moana walks in with groceries.
Ow.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
you're alive.
Of course I'm alive. You should ring ahead. Hello, Prava, Kuzon, she says as she welcomes both of you.
Marana, good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
We did a big job.
As she, like, she looks on the TV that's playing the news of Akidon's arrival. It's like, yes, I think I noticed.
I brought booze.
I'll pull out the bottle of wine and set it on the table.
Ha, so you pull out the very expensive stuff, do you?
Yeah.
So Aiden pulls out like some cheap beer while you pull out like this like 200 credit worth of wine. Just goosh.
Aiden just frowns and immediately adds, I'm the one that found it.
Ah, I see. She like walks up to it and says, I think we could all enjoy a drink while everybody's playing around, don't you?
That reminds me, where is everybody? Like, are they still out working?
She passes off the groceries to Z for a moment. It's like, oh, yes, they are basically wandering around, you know, doing their own thing, taking a day off from the kids.
Nah. Well, they don't know what they're missing. Look at this. I brought pizza, there's space fried chicken, there's a lot of alcohol. Oh, I brought cigars. Basically all the unhealthy stuff that you can think of, and fast food is in the box.
They're like, as you say, like all about the fast food and stuff. You see it like, well, I guess we've been eating too healthily lately, so the kids are immediately swarming that area.
Yep.
What do you plan on doing after the party? She says she's setting everything up with you.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking of taking a few days off. This mission was a bit rougher than usual, and he unconsciously starts grabbing for his shoulder where his arm got severed.
Well, your hand got severed, not your shoulder.
Oh, was it? Oh, well,
Yeah.
He just starts rubbing his arm a little bit. There's probably still scars on it. He just unconsciously rubs it as he says that, yeah, maybe a few days off would be nice. Oh, kids, don't rummage too far. The girls are here and below. Don't touch those. Not yet.
Ah, you bought guns as well, I see.
Hey, we gotta defend ourselves when the time comes.
Well, at least it would fit in
It's Absalom.
It'd at least fit in the new armory, at least.
Oh, I'm assuming that the remodeling's done. Can't wait to see the new rooms.
Yes, they're all done. Since you've been gone for a while, a lot's changed. She says as she sits down on the sofa with a small sigh. Well, let's enjoy
Is
it.
everything alright?
Yes, why?
I mean, you seem a little out of it.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I've had to look after an entire family and an entire work environment on my own.
Aiden reaches into the crate again and says, I brought booze.
She snatches out your hand. It'll take a while, but I'll forgive you. Now. Well, after Z puts away the groceries, she goes and sits by Moana, and while you're doing all that, Prava, you do get a small notification. You see that the Benefactor has messaged you and told you like the meeting time of when you got to meet. Basically, it's like tomorrow. For now, they're cleaning out the Kilion.
Wonderful. Prava messages back that he's excited to do work and he will be there at least an hour early.
Good. I look forward to when you arrive. Right. Is there anybody who wishes to do anything? As, of course, you're having a party, and I would say for the next 2 days, so today and the next day, you'll gain a +2 to a roll. From having
Ooh.
refined food and having, partying and relaxing after your hard-fought battle with Makilion.
When Morana is sufficiently drunk late at night, I wanna get her in private and ask her a question.
She's a little bit buzzed, but you know her. She can handle it liquor quite well, as she's...
Yeah.
It's like, yes, Aiden? What is it?
So, you and Z, huh?
She looks at you for a moment and... What?
Nothing. I'm just, curious. I mean, some of the boys have talked to me about their experiences with succubi before, but I'm curious since, you being you, what's it like?
She just stares at you for a moment before looking towards the door as people are starting to come in now, the adults and the like. They're starting to walk into the place, and she goes, either way, let's enjoy tonight and relax. Oh, and while you were wrong about that, well, it's a new experience having a girlfriend, she says as she walks off towards the party, taking a drink from a can.
I know it. And Aiden's just gonna take a swig of his drink and go and chat with the rest of the boys since it's been a while.
Did you know Starfinder has relationship rules for PCs?
Huh. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Since you guys set up certain things, I basically rolled to see what would happen.
Nice.
So Prava being matchmaker during the girls' night and stuff like that. Basically, I was like...
He matched them a little too well.
Yeah, basically it's like, yeah, everyone's gonna be friends. Oh, okay. I guess they're more than friends now. So, I'm gonna suspect that you guys party that night, and should we move on to the next day?
Yeah, I imagine this is like Kuzon's just like I only had a few beers down, and it's just like, and there I was, surrounded by the Tenebra skirt, 5-1.
5-1. It's like, what? Do you mean that all 5 of you took on one guy? No, we round.
That's no, the one that makes me cool.
Oh, sorry. That was a bit too strong a laugh, but that was amazing. The one that makes me look cool. I'm amazing. Okay, right.
By the way, when we set up the piñata with the kids and the baseball bats, if for some reason they can't seem to get it, I'm just gonna take out my gun and shoot the piñata.
just poof. It's like, we just painted that wall like 4 days ago. There's like candy sprayed across it. Like somebody shot
We can rebuild it.
So, during the night, essentially everybody has fun, and Prava, you do find out eventually. I think social cues, you would notice that they're staying next to each other throughout the night. So, you would definitely pick up, given how social you are.
Yeah, it's like Prava's like buzzing and like giving Z these looks like, we're gonna talk about this, right? We're gonna talk about this, right? We're gonna talk about this, right?
All excited. Like, right, so as you are going about the day, let me check something. Kuzon,
Yes.
in the morning, you do find on your wish list a few messages. Of course, you got the message from the guy at the mining platform that's informing you, like, everything's going so well, I've been promoted, I've got a stable job, I can't thank you enough. If there's anything you ever need, just contact me. Like, he's like very excited. He has gotten along so well with his new work buddies, apparently.
That's good.
Apart from that, there's of course advertisements and stuff that you missed out that's built up in your inbox.
Delete.
But eventually, you do see the name that you got from before, from, well, your child. But what it says simply is, Mother knows now.
Uh-oh.
So, as that's happening, Prava, you do have a meeting. Did you want to do that now?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Right, essentially, you go to a very large and opulent area of Absalom. It's huge. You see the pristine white buildings. You see the lush gardens, so different from the inner workings of the rest of the station. This is the center of the station.
And you know I'm wearing my fancy dragon suit.
You can see it. Essentially, it's right, well, in the middle, as you can see from the picture. It's got towers spiring out. Some are made out of almost pure glass. The dome gives almost sky-like view. You can't even see the space around you. It's like clear skies.
Oh, so there's like a fake sky on the inside of the dome that like...
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a fake cloudy like sky in the inside of a dome that gives a very warm and welcoming feeling.
Kind of has the opposite effect on Prava. He likes the look of space, so he kind of shrinks back a little bit from this artificial sky, but he continues on. He's here for a job, so...
Eventually, the Benefactor is waiting for you at one of the towers. It's like, this is where we will be meeting. It's essentially a court of law, but it will suit our purposes just fine.
Wonderful. And who am I going to be speaking with today? Representatives from the company or the government, or...
Well, the former owners, of course. Their company went bankrupt and they're running a small firm right now. They're looking to get back as much as they can from the massive loss they had.
Oh, so you're saying the original company was dissolved, huh? Were their assets seized in this process, or?
Yes, but they still have claim to the ship. After all, it wasn't an asset that was present during those times.
No, I suppose not, but...
Is this where we find out that Prava is a cutthroat businessman and is like, yeah, fuck those guys, let them suffer, let's take all the profits?
I mean, no, Prava's going to look for a way that all of them can profit equally, but, you know, he also has his own goal here.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we have Absalom authorities trying to claim something, but, you know, they never get far.
No, I don't know what their claim would be exactly.
Yes, but they have to try, you understand, you know, try saving face.
Yeah, of
The
course.
real ones that are there is a few other salvager groups that have hired a lawyer to speak on their behalf. You know, the former owners are definitely the biggest threat out of them all. And the families and the like of the lost ones trying to reclaim some sort of compensation from the whole mess.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think I'd be against them, huh? Have the authorities managed to, like, sort out all the bodies and figure out who was who? And
No,
I
but
suppose.
with the kids present, they're the largest, well, holders of claim from their group. Basically, you can think of this like a class action sort of thing. They are representing all the people on that and want to share the credits in order to, well, be able to forward burying their loved ones.
Probably suddenly looking like he came in this looking like confident, like ready to like kick ass, but now he's kind of like, oh,
I wouldn't worry too much. You can't prevent them from getting anything, neither of the groups, but it's just what share you desire.
I mean, I wouldn't want them to be prevented from getting their fair claims. If it was just the business guys, I'd be a little more cutthroat, but let's make sure we divvy this up fair for everybody.
I'd expect nothing less from you, Prava. Come on, let's head inside.
I want to say, like, Kuzon doesn't want to be there, but I will, like, organize a log of everything and, like, make sure basically he has, like, the pictures of all the damages and other things we have to deal with. Like, I'd help Prava, like, get his notes ready for when he shows up, so he has his binder full, like, his data pad full of, like, all the physical evidence and the diagnostic info and stuff like that.
Hmm. Oh, by the way, Prava, as you're like walking, the benefactor's like looking through Kuzon's notes that he's given you just to make sure he knows everything. What are you going to be calling yourself? Should we just call you the crew of Perseverance?
Yes, that would be.
As I suspect, I wouldn't expect you to claim everything under your name.
No. This is the crew's asset. I'm going to be operating as a company for this.
Understood. Right then, let's head on inside. And, of course, this is going to be some roles as well. As you enter and start speaking, you see each of them start giving their cases. The judge presiding over it is like, okay, we have to do this quickly since the ship can't stay in orbit around Absalom. It's a danger to shipping and stuff. We need to sort it now. So, essentially, you see each of them coming up first for class action. Then, like, they're giving, of course, we need compensation for our lost loved ones. This shouldn't have happened. We don't know what happened to it. Stuff like that. And you see, of course, the businessman come over. It's like, we need some sort of compensation for it. We need to recoup losses of what happened. Not to mention, we need this in order to pay any lawsuits that come across because of this. And we need to find out what happened to the ship and why it happened. And, you know, the Absalom guys just basically go up, well, it's in our orbit. And you see the judge just look at them. It's like, just look at them for a moment and go, okay, now your case. And he's like gesturing for you and the benefactor to come up. He's like, Prava, do you want me to speak, or did you want to speak on your behalf?
If you could give the opening statement while I prepare the rest of my notes, and then I'm going to come in with No, you know what? I'll handle this. Don't worry. Sit down. Prava's going to step forward. Yes, absolutely.
Understood. Alright, so you don't want the benefactor to aid you in diplomacy? You may now roll diplomacy and, if you wish, to give me a speech and reasoning why you should have this ship. Because I will decrease the DC for it if you do.
Greetings, friends. I'm Prava, captain of the Perseverance, the crew that salvaged your ship here today. I've come today to make a deal that I think's in all of our best interest. My crew and I put a lot into salvaging the ship. We risked our lives. We risked the lives of co-workers and friends. Even the benefactor here's personal assistant came and endangered herself in this mission. And then Prava just basically goes through all of his facts and figures, business plans, possible expenses, possible income, just assessing how he would use the value of the ship better than he believes the company would.
And as you're speaking, of course, and after you finish up your business acumen, you hear the judge does speak up. It's like, I also have heard that you may have discovered something on your trip. Though it does not pertain to the ship itself, it may pertain to what exactly happens on that ship.
Well, yes. I believe you're talking about the race we've discovered. We would like to offer them a section of this ship to be their home. I know it's difficult to introduce a new species to a planet. I know the Adaris had a lot of trouble with that. So our goal is right out the gate to have a homestead ready for these folks. They don't have quite the needs that most of us pact worlders have in their inorganic nature.
Yes, you seem to have a habit of introducing other species to places, do you not? After all, it seems like you are the one responsible for the new colony on Akiton.
New colony on Akiton?
You are unaware. Yes, some people from the Adari have actually set up a colony on Akiton under the guise of temporary and, well, we are seeing how it goes, in other words. They have set up a colony.
This all happen while we were away on this job? When did this occur?
Well, it has been a few months since your activities on the Adari. So, they've had time to discuss and move things along. And, all in all, at the end of the day, a small colony has been set up as a stopgap to see how it goes.
Oh, happy to hear that. I hope that reduces the tension on the Adara. You know, it was starting to get really heated in there.
You understand. Thank you. You do understand that if this new race comes in, it won't be like the Adari and its people. You will be held responsible for anything that may happen with these creatures.
I mean, they're their own people. I would prefer that, but I suppose if you need someone to step up and take responsibility for them, I'd be happy to do that. I'm willing to put myself out there for the races of the galaxy.
Yes, there is laws in place about first contact, and, well, since you were the one to make first contact, you are responsible for this. Though I am not sure if you are aware of such a thing. Sadly, that is the law. And if you do, let's say I grant you permission to build that station you wanted out of the remains of Kelion, you would of course be responsible for, well, anything that happens on that station with that new race.
Just so we're clear, just me, not my crew, right?
Well, not exactly. Your crew will be somewhat, but you may, of course, take full responsibility.
I take full responsibility for this race. I will be responsible for integrating them into the Pact worlds. I will be responsible for any crimes they commit while they are here. I take full responsibility onto my shoulders and my shoulders alone.
Understood. Well then. Let us end off with closing statements. And with that, you see like people coming back and forth once again, and you of course make your diplomacy, your closing statement with all the bravado you can muster.
Prava also takes times afterwards to like talk to the families like individually here, and like ask about like who they lost and try and find them in like the crew or the passenger list.
We will discuss this more to length, but I think we have all the information needed. We will contact you on the morrow and give you our answers. I believe we'll contact each representative of respective parties. And the Benefactor nods since, well, he's your representative in this matter.
I thank the court for your time, and I will be eagerly awaiting your deliberation.
And with that, the court adjourns, and you see the Benefactor walking out, having shared the notes of the court and everything like that during your speech. You have done well.
Yeah, I mean, the scale's different, but this is the kind of stuff I'm used to doing from back in the old day.
I'm impressed. I could use someone like you on my business team.
I suppose, but I'm tied up with the Perseverance for now.
Yeah, so also personally keep you there as well. You gain interesting results.
Let's not talk about the results until we have everything resolved, yeah?
Of course. Anyway, enjoy yourself. I'm going to be heading off. And he's walking towards the car with Edible opening the door for him. She gives you a small wave, of course, Prava.
Prava returns the gesture.
So, if you end up returning back to Zero Risk for the time being, what is it you guys wanted to do?
If it's in the downtime, unless Aiden's helping out around HQ, he's probably in his room still just chilling and drinking. He's feeling pretty melodramatic after everything that happened, and he's just looking at his old dog tags and, not feeling very social.
I think at a certain point, Mana does knock on your door and opens it up to where Aiden is. It's like, is everything okay? The Benefactor is waiting for you in the main lobby.
Sure, tell him I'll be there in a few minutes. Are the rest of the guys down there?
She gives a small nod, but she does look at you for a moment, and it's like, she sees you messing with dog tags. It's like, you thinking back on something?
Yeah, like I said, it was a rough mission. I'm just remembering some old stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna start heading downstairs, thanks.
And it keeps watching you for a moment. It's like, Well, those weren't the best days. They were rough.
We'll talk about it some other time.
She notices you're trying to avoid the topic as you're probably rushing to go and see
I mean,
Benefactor.
somebody is literally waiting for me, so you know.
She obviously does not care if the Benefactor's waiting, but she does nod to your understanding. It's like, understood, we'll talk later. And she heads on off as well. She heads on
I'm
to the
assuming the other guys aren't there since you mentioned that he came to see me, so as soon as Aiden sees him, he's gonna say, hey, to what do I owe this unannounced visit? What do I owe this pleasure to?
Ah, well, I was just wondering a few things. And he's like limping over to one of the chairs to sit down. As he makes his way over, he takes a sit down and looks at you for a moment. I understand that you are a mercenary, and normally you do things without being told much.
Depends on the pay.
Of course. However, while the others would probably want to know this information, I wanted to check with you. If I tell you what that information and scan data was and what I am after, it may involve you more deeply than you may have hoped.
As long as the money's right, I don't care. You mentioned that you're willing to share more about your plans and what you're after. Does it have something to do with your health?
No, but it does have something to do with why my health is so bad. If that's the case, then
That's the first trustworthy thing you've said, and I think since I met you, so I can get behind a rich person trying to fix his own disease. Your other goals and other stuff you've been mentioning, too shady for my taste.
Yes, I did discover that you are not very receptive to the intimidation of, well, power and money. Unlike some
I
of the
think you
others.
know where. I think you know my home world.
Yes, I did check. Hence why I started acting differently the moment I came here. I guess more like my old self. Would be a more appropriate term.
Since you're willing to share extra information with me, I'm gonna assume that this is required, otherwise you wouldn't have bothered. What's the issue?
Well, I would prefer if the others were here as well. Would you mind if we called them? He does eventually call you Prava and Kuzon. Not sure where you would be, but like eventually you're called to the place. Like to the lobby.
Yeah, I'll Kuzon will follow up. I'll show up in my fancy red cruiser.
You pull up outside, having gotten McDonald's. Space McDonald's. It's like they let you back after you stole the ketchup packets.
I mean, technically they didn't catch me stealing, so they didn't know I stole their ketchup packets.
Just
I probably
a ton of them.
I probably still have a bunch of ketchup packets.
Yeah, they're all in the
car.
back. He's like, would you like some ketchup? You look in like the glove compartment, there's just stuff full of them and say, no, I'm fine. What about you, Prava? Have you come as well?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, essentially, the Benefactor goes, I've been meaning to tell you. I think it is time that I reveal what this data is, and why my objective is what it is. I told Aiden that this may get you a bit more personally involved than just a simple job. So I'm asking you two now if that is fine with you. If not, then we can keep this professional.
Prava's head's tilted. He's like, I already considered myself personally involved with you.
As I suspected. He actually smiles at that. Like he strokes his moustache a little. Well then. I believe we should start at the beginning. And, well, this. And you see him basically toss out a small little icon onto the table, and it clatters about as the small red metal of it hits against the table. And this is the icon you see.
I mean, I imagine like Kuzon would try to look at it, but it probably does not mean anything to him.
Would I be able to roll like culture or mysticism to see if Prava's ever seen anything like that before?
You may roll culture. Anybody can roll culture, in fact. So, as you're looking at it, Prava and Aiden, you do pick up on something similar. You pick up on the fact that this star is actually part of the symbol of the Starfinder Society. They are much like the Salvagers in a way, though less, paid and more of an organization for the betterment of the galaxy, finding out about the gap. Adventurers, essentially. Think of it like an adventurers guild. The Starfinder Society, however, Prava, you do pick up that this is a lot different. For instance, instead of a gold star that's normally in the center of a much larger rounded piece, this is a very specific kind of star. It's spiky, its symbol in the middle is changed to what appears to be an arcane eye. It's different in many ways, as if it's been perverted.
It reminds me of the Starfinder symbol, but something's wrong with it. It's warped, it's dark, it's creepy.
Yes. Some of the leaders of the Tenebrous Guard were wearing these, in fact. Well, under their capes and such, I suspect, but we know.
And so hiding it from their other men as well, or?
Yes. Seems like their lower ranks are not privy to it, or at least a certain section of the lower ranks. Who knows, they may be culling out the ones who don't know. Hence why you said they left people on that ship. And, well, how to put this? This seems to be an organization. Maybe within the Starfinder Society, maybe outside of it, who just took their symbol. These people have been bothering my objective for a long time now.
And your objective is?
It is to find an object called the Sling.
That much we already know. And I share with him a data path. I had my boys look into you. You may say that, I'm a mercenary that works for the cash and not get too personally involved, but I at least want to know who I'm working with. Unlike Jacko, I'm not a terrorist.
A bit harsh on your fellow mercenary, but yes, you are correct. And I'm impressed that you searched on that. But you do not know what the Sling is, do you?
No. Speaking of which, another thing that I'm curious about that maybe you can shed some light on is, well, Elebor. I could find stuff even on you, but she's a completely blank slate. Like, where did you meet her?
Elebor. I will have to ask her on that matter. After all, I do not want to betray her trust by simply, blurting out.
You trust her that much?
He looks down for a moment. Probably the first time he's looked away from any of your eyes, and ever since you met him. He's always met you with a prideful and very stoic type of stare, but at that moment he looked down as if barely thinking on the matter before looking up. Yes, in fact, more than anyone in this universe.
Very well then.
But yes, I will ask her if she wishes to share such a thing. The sling itself. It is, well, you all know what the gap is, I suspect. The disappearance of Gladwin, the entire part of, well, its lost technology and the like.
And it's where the elves are from, right? The elves and the dwarfs, they all come from
Yes.
Galarian, do they?
The elves and dwarfs did not handle its disappearance well. Especially the elves. Their memory of their home planet having been cut apart, hundreds of years vanishing. Not very good for them, to say the least. But this device, it was built during the gap. Oh, I believe so. It was before the invention of drift drives. It was designed to fire spaceships at insane speeds across the galaxy in order to reach their destinations. Basically meant to set up, well, homes and colonies on other places before setting up ways to get across easier.
Not gonna lie,
Well-
didn't expect the name to be so literal.
Well, yeah, honestly, I was more worried about something else. You said it was used to sling ships, which means it's very powerful. Could they weaponize it?
Of course, you would think of that immediately, but while I have no intentions of such a thing, and I would not know where you would even begin, you could possibly, I suspect. I mean, firing a ship and firing a meteor is basically the same thing.
Talk about literal, like Prava said. To literally sling a ship through space, that's the most barbaric and archaic thing I can think of. The power required for that must be massive.
Well, it was either that or, well, the only drives that we could think of otherwise would be going through the elemental planes through portals, and that's never safe.
That
So-
just sounds insane.
Exactly what use is a primitive, obsolete form of space travel to you?
I guess you could call it closure. Try finding the place that I left behind. He looks at his robotic hand for a moment that I failed to protect long ago. I'm sorry I'm being a bit vague despite promising to tell you more, but I do not think I should tell you too much until your friend has arrived. You can think on
Considering
it.
Thiveron and his desire to uncover weird stuff and tell stories, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be on board on hearing about this stuff.
So, I think I will leave the details until all of you are here, but I just thought that a little bit of information to ease you in would be best.
Yeah, this Kuzon just kind of like smiles. It's like, I'd be willing to help if it means that the jobs that you assign us in the future go by more smoothly. I have a feeling that if we declined your offer but kept taking jobs from you, at some point or another, we're gonna run into these guys unprepared.
That being said, I suppose the next job I give you would be to find out about them. He keeps the symbol on the table. I will repeat it once Thiveron's here, but that is probably going to be your next job. We need to know the enemy and where exactly that data went.
And so we're going to be pursuing after Cole.
I think I'm gonna have to go over, work with whoever your technology and espionage guys are, sir, and figure out how they tracked you. Because obviously, if they showed up and intercepted the data, they have their fingers running deep. I'm gonna see if there's some way that we can make sure that doesn't happen again.
Understood. I make sure that the Rippers are also on these tasks as well. Not on the same task as you, mind you. As I said, I think the days of you having competition with your fellow Salvagers is behind you.
But I had so much fun.
Oh,
But
So that means next time we can work together with them. We can have even more fun.
very true.
The Tenebrigard are very well equipped. We're gonna need to arm ourselves better if we're gonna stand a chance.
True, actually. Speaking of that, Prava's gonna bring up the footage of the fight against the number 2. Like, do you have any suggestions if we ever encounter this one again in the future? She seems downright invincible.
Nah, don't worry about that part. Just tell me where she is. I'll handle that one.